I thought it would be fun to look at some of the perspective in Van Gogh's paintings because some of it is right on, perfect, and some of it is far off. So check out my book, Ellen's Guide to Perspective, on Amazon, and let's get going. Let's start with this beautiful painting where the perspective is perfect. We have a horizon line here that goes through the eyes of the figure. Remember, the horizon line is the eye level of the viewer, so if it goes through the eyes of the figure, it means the figure is as tall as the viewer, the land has to be flat, and the viewer must be looking at an eye level viewpoint, meaning looking straight ahead, not up or down. We do have these converging lines here that seem to go past the horizon or eye level rather than meeting at a vanishing point on eye level. But I think probably the road turns when it gets to this house in the back. This is a bird's eye view because the figure is below eye level or the horizon. And eye level passes through the second story of the house, suggesting that the viewer is in a second story of another house or on a hill that is high as that house. There's a clear-cut road here for the figure to go, but when you look at it, it seems like it's cut off and it radiates out in different directions and it's very complicated. And so the figure is taking the road through the field. This is a picture of Van Gogh looking for a place to paint. He is shorter than the viewer because his eyes are below eye level, even though both of them, the figure and the viewer, are Van Gogh, so they should be the same. We see a very strong shadow here, but we don't see shadows for the wall or the trees. The trunk of the trees, their shadows would go like this, so they would interfere with the picture had he drawn them in. His shadow parallels this green diagonal in the back, and his head is framed by the wall, the two very straight trees, and the horizon in back. The shadow isn't drawn correctly, and to find a shadow, you go from various points on the figure to points on the shadow. And when you do that, you see that the light direction is converging down like this. And that only occurs with front lighting. And this is backlighting, where the light is in front of us to the left. And so the light rays should radiate out like that. For example, here is backlighting and we have light radiating out. And this is with an artificial light, and there too the light is radiating out. This is two-point perspective, where there are perfect converging lines going to this vanishing point and somewhat less perfect converging lines going to a vanishing point over here. And eye level passes nearly through the eyes of the figure. In this picture, we have the horizon, and the converging lines for this building meet at a vanishing point below the horizon, and these don't really converge at all. And we know that Van Gogh knows how to draw this properly, so he did this on purpose, probably to make this look less architectural and precise. Also, the lighting is unclear. The dark sky and these light faces of the house make it look like front lighting, where the sun is behind our left shoulder. But this side is a little bit lighter than this side, indicating that the sun might be to the right. But there are no shadows, suggesting an overcast day. But overall, it gives the impression that the house is lit from all sides. This is a bird's eye view with eye level passing through the windows. So it implies that Van Gogh is in a similar house looking through the windows. The converging lines for the house don't come close to a vanishing point on eye level, so he must have done that on purpose to make the house look rickety and distorted. I tried to connect parts of the house to the shadow, indicating that the light direction is upward, so that the sun is overhead. But for the figure, assuming this is a shadow, the shadow of the figure goes this way, implying that the sun is to the left. Now, he violates the principle of composition by having two paths for the viewer to follow. But he makes one path dominant by having it contain the figure, the shadow, and a glimpse around the house. This is a picture of Van Gogh's bedroom, and the bed and the room align perfectly toward this vanishing point on eye level. But the shutters don't, nor do these pictures on the wall. These pictures make the wall here look as if it slants inward. Now, I set up a scale here that goes from 1 to 7, since doors are generally about 7 feet tall. And that puts eye level about 5.5 feet tall, which is about how tall Van Gogh was. Now, if we draw a line 2 feet off the ground around the room, we will find that the table and the chair are below 2 feet. And usually tables are 2.5 feet and chairs are at least that tall. So making these two much smaller than they really are makes the room look longer, especially with this rapidly converging bed. In his night cafe painting, the mood is dreary and depressing, especially with the sickly greenish yellow colors. And the vanishing point for the room right here indicates that eye level passes just above the man standing here, suggesting that the viewer is standing on the floor. But the chair has a vanishing point over here, and this table has parallel lines that don't go to any vanishing point. But most notably, the table goes to a vanishing point above eye level, so it tilts towards us and suggests that the viewer is on some stairs looking down at the room. Now, interestingly, the shadow here is drawn perfectly, where it goes from the corners of the table to the corners of the shadow. But no other objects have shadows. Van Gogh painted this chair as a simple, plain chair with his pipe and tobacco here and his name on the box over here. There are no shadows or convincing light shade areas except perhaps right here. So the lighting appears to be diffuse without any one direction. But something looks askew with the perspective. When we follow the converging lines, we find that there are vanishing points on eye level for most of the elements in this picture. But notably, the ones that don't go to eye level are these tiles in front that converge way upward, making the front of this floor look like it's turning towards us. And he certainly did that on purpose. Van Gogh painted this picture the last year of his life from memory when he was in an asylum. These windows slant upward, and they don't seem to converge at all. But obviously, houses need to be horizontal. We can't have sloping floors. So I think he totally disregarded perspective in this painting and concentrated instead on drawing houses with character. In this beautiful picture, he shows this branch coming forward and these branches going toward the distance. While branches normally taper, they get larger as they approach us. So this branch that is coming toward us either doesn't taper or tapers only a little bit. Whereas branches going away from us taper and also get smaller with distance. So the result is they taper a lot. Now for the advancing branch here, we see details and textures with sharp edges. And the contours are elliptical here and they're more circular over here. Now what Van Gogh does that other artists generally don't do is he boldly outlines this branch with black, dark lines, increasing the value contrast and making the edges sharp. And he uses thin, broken lines to outline the receding branches so their edges are less defined. Now, we usually don't want to boldly and totally outline a shape because it tends to flatten the form. But Van Gogh was fine with that, with a little flattening, and I think it's great. I also listed some other characteristics of the advancing and receding branches if you want to take a look at that. Eye level in this famous painting hits the door just under 3/4 of the way up, indicating that the viewer was standing. But the eyes of the figures in this viewpoint should be on eye level, but they're quite far below, indicating that the figures and the tables are too small. This discrepancy is most marked with the table in front, which is only about 1/5 the size of the door, and it should be about 1/3 the height of the door. So he probably does this to enhance the sense of depth. When we look at values, there's a divide between light and dark, and the white tables are similar to the stars in the sky. So maybe that's why he didn't want to make them too large. The focus is this standing man with a white outfit who is on top of a triangular shape, and some have likened him to Christ. The dark figure right here was not in his initial drawing and provides the strongest contrast, and some people think that represents Judas. I want to tie together what I've said so that we understand when Van Gogh uses perfect perspective and when he distorts it. So he uses accurate one-point perspective in this bedroom scene for the room and the bed. He uses accurate two-point perspective in this drawing, but he uses non-converging lines on these walls to make the wall look like it slants in. He also distorts one-point perspective here to make this building look rickety. He distorts two-point perspective here, but it doesn't look distorted. I think he does this to make the buildings look less architectural. He chooses certain elements to converge toward a vanishing point above eye level, like this tile floor and the pool table. And it makes those elements look like they tilt toward us. And he totally abandons perspective here, so the windows slant upward, probably so he can concentrate on the character of the houses, which seem to wiggle like the smoke. In these two pictures, he shows shadows for the main subject, the painter and the pool table, whereas all the other objects lack shadows, so he literally shines a light on the focus. The shadow is not drawn accurately here, but it is drawn perfectly over here. And he selectively reduces the size of objects and figures to exaggerate depth, like the table and chair here, and the tables and figures here. So I hope you found that interesting. I certainly did. And my next video will be about spheres, and please remember to subscribe.